I work as an airport officer. A woman just showed me a passport from a country that doesn't exist. It was a slow day at the airport, the kind where the clock seemed to move in slow motion. I'd been scanning passports and boarding passes for hours, barely looking up as travelers passed through my station. But when the woman approached my desk, something felt off immediately. She was calm, too calm, with a demeanor that seemed out of place in the chaotic environment of an international terminal. Her clothes were ordinary, yet there was an air of otherworldliness about her that I couldn't quite place. When she handed me her passport, I hesitated. The passport was sleek, with a cover that shimmered slightly under the fluorescent lights. The emblem on the front wasn't one I recognized, and the language beneath it was a strange mix of characters and symbols that didn't match any alphabet I knew. Trying to hide my confusion, I opened the passport. Her name was listed as Alara Nix, and the country of origin was Nova Elysium. I'd never heard of it, and that was impossible. I'd memorized every recognized country. The passport was filled with stamps, each from places I'd never seen before, written in that same unfamiliar script. "Excuse me, ma'am," I said, keeping my voice steady. "This passport, where exactly is Nova Elysium?" Her eyes met mine, and I felt a chill run down my spine. "It's where I'm from," she replied simply, her voice soft yet filled with an unsettling certainty. I excused myself to consult with a colleague, hoping they could make sense of this. But when I described the passport to them, they looked at me as if I were crazy. No one had heard of Nova Elysium. When I returned to my desk, the woman was gone. Panic set in. She hadn't been cleared, hadn't gone through security, and she definitely hadn't passed by me. I checked the security cameras, but there was no trace of her. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Determined to find her, I alerted airport security, and we began a thorough search of the terminal. Hours passed with no sign of the woman. It was as if she had never been there. My supervisors were skeptical, but when I handed them the passport, their expressions changed. They examined it closely, unable to recognize the material or the language. We contacted immigration authorities who ran the passport through every database available. The results were the same. Nova Elysium did not exist. That night, I couldn't shake the image of her calm eyes and that impossible passport. I went home, but sleep wouldn't come. Something about the encounter gnawed at me, a deep sense of unease that I couldn't explain. The next day at work, I checked the security logs again. But this time, when I replayed the footage, I saw something that made my blood run cold. The cameras had captured her arrival at the terminal, only it wasn't her I saw. The screen flickered, and instead of the woman, there was a distortion, a shadowy figure walking through the terminal, blending seamlessly with the crowd. As I watched, the figure seemed to blur, almost like it was phasing in and out of reality. When it reached my desk, the distortion cleared, and the woman was there again, handing me the passport. But just as quickly, the footage glitched, and she was gone, leaving only that dark, indistinct shape. My heart raced as I watched the footage over and over, trying to make sense of it. Who, or what, had I seen? Later that week, strange things started happening. My electronic devices began malfunctioning. My phone would ring with no caller on the other end, and I started seeing shadows in my peripheral vision. The feeling of being watched grew stronger with each passing day. Then, late one night, I received an email from an unknown sender. The subject line read, "She's coming back." Attached was a single image. The woman's passport, open to a page I hadn't seen before. It was a visa stamped with today's date and the name of my city, alongside a message. "Your destination is confirmed." Terror gripped me as I realized that the visa was for me. The date was for tomorrow, and the destination was a place that didn't exist. I was being invited, or perhaps summoned, to Nova Elysium. The next day I called in sick, unable to face the idea of going back to the airport. But my phone buzzed with a new notification, a boarding pass, with my name on it, for a flight to Nova Elysium. The gate number flashed on the screen, the same gate where I had last seen her. The clock was ticking down, the departure time approaching fast. I could feel the walls closing in, the shadows deepening around me. I knew I couldn't run, couldn't hide. Something had marked me, chosen me, and there was no escape. As I sat there clutching my phone, the final notification came through. "Boarding now.